All right, back underway. Just getting this party started from Matomet Field on Long Island. A trip to the national championship game is on the line. Here is the third face-off specialist, and that's Evan Spillane, who's got a lot of speed. We spoke to Coach Shimana about the uniqueness of this squad as Andrews bounces it right to Dylan Renner. There are three face-off guys on this St. Anselm team, different from years past.
Yeah, for sure. And each of them kind of brings a little bit of a different style, so it makes it hard for the opposing teams, I think, to match up on that end. But, you know, again, as we talked about, Yanoni, the face-off specialist of the year, he misses the NE10 championship game, and instead their other two guys, Gannon and Spillane, are perfect, and they win every single face-off, which is pretty incredible.
And all have different styles, as we've outlined. Spillane very quick and got his first opportunity at the equator today. Delphi with possession in the white uniforms. The 2024 NE10 champions. Kyle Lewis is shoved down. Great defense. Colby Goodchild, short stick D-Midi, the sophomore from Reading, Massachusetts. Jake Davis sidesteps, winds up, and Dylan Renner. Domination for Dylan Renner right there.
You know, it's funny, too. We talked to Coach Michael Shimana, and he basically was saying if you give Renner a chance to see the ball and you're shooting from 12, 15 yards out, he's going to make a lot of those saves. And that's what we've seen now 2 times in the last few possessions for St. Anselm. A shot from outside, and he's able to see it and make the stop.
The 2024 NE10 Goalkeeper of the Year and Co-Player of the Year. There's never been anybody in the history of this conference to win both of those awards during the same season. He is elite with a capital E. Roboto shoots low, and Finn Granara gobbles it up. Jason Roboto, the senior, trying to get involved.
And Granara really, as we said, he had a much better game in the NE10 championship game than in the regular season matchup, which was his first career start. He really, I thought, went toe-to-toe with Renner for much of that game, and he's going to have to keep coming up with saves like that to try to match his counterpart on the other side.
Strong ride from Adelphi. And now St. Anselm will settle it down, fresh off a 14-11 victory over Mercy. 7 goal scorers in that game, a very balanced attack to put themselves into the national semifinals for the first time ever. Patience right here for Jake Davis, senior from Franklin, Massachusetts.
You're seeing a lot of those high ball screens by St. Anselm trying to free up some of their better players to attack the cage.
And from behind the cage, this is Noah Larson, twin brother of Nick, who's the co-player of the year in the league, number 39 in blue. Shot clock down to 11. It's go time for the Hawks. Will Andrews, his second game back after injury. Dylan Renner is right there again. Just stone cold in cage. And how about that? An acrobatic catch, and he launches it ahead. Dangerous pass. Davis gobbles it up off the carpet.
Yeah, that's unlucky there for Renner. It was, I think, maybe an ill-advised pass, and it actually wound up getting all the way through to Butler, who was on the other side of midfield, which you don't usually see, but he wasn't able to handle it. And instead, it's a lucky break for St. Anselm to have another crack on offense here.
Nick Larson spins, shoots low, and it zooms back behind cage, backed up by twin brother Noah Larson. When we spoke to Coach Shimana, he said Noah is the party starter. Initiates the offense, but he wants him to shoot the ball more this game. A little bit of a different approach is what the head coach told us.
I thought he had a strong game playing from X, really, in the NE10 title game. 3 goals, 4 points in the 2 meetings this year.
Here's Nick O'Shea, who takes face-offs for Adelphi, marking up Maverick Lyon, one of the first-line attack guys on this St. Anselm team. Dylan Renner once again. He's piling up the saves for Adelphi, and that is his 5th already.
And really all of them except for that first one that he allowed from Davis have mostly been from the outside. So Panthers are defending the interior very well, keeping St. Anselm to the outside, letting them get late in the shot clock, and letting Renner do what he does best, which is see the ball, stop the ball.
Gordon Purdy, the 17th-year head coach, said Dylan Renner has to be great in order for us to win this game. And so far, so good, with 5 saves in this first quarter.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people who are maybe seeing Adelphi for the first time, you ask yourself, how do you reach this stage of the season winning only 30% of your faceoffs? And the answer is you have the #1 goalie in the country.
And some would say the best player in the country, as Logan Tucker muscles that one through. It went off the stick of Granara. Yeah, picking up rocks, more like piling up goals. It's 4-1 Adelphi.
So far, it's been interesting. You know, I think in the last 2 matchups, we've seen a lot of Ryan Slattery matching up against that man behind the cage right there, against Logan Tucker. Today, he's matched up against the man behind the cage in Braden Donnellan, and Tucker has had other matchups on defense, and he's got 2 goals right out of the gate. So I wonder if at some point they're going to go back to that Slattery on Tucker matchup, because that seemed to be working really well for them in the first 2 meetings.
Adelphi hasn't won a face-off until right here. Their first face-off win of the game and just their second face-off win in the 3 meetings. Scurry's out of bounds, possession to the Panthers, and a restart for Eamon Hall, the senior attackman.
And I understand the desire to want to go fast there with the transition off the face-off, but when you only win a couple a game, I might have been more tempted to try to slow that thing down.
Logan Tucker guarded by the close defenseman Jonathan Holland, senior from Derry, New Hampshire. Tucker with a couple of goals already, and that scoots wide. You know, a lot of people, like you mentioned, that are seeing Adelphi for the first time, asking the question, what in the world happened at the face-off X?
Yeah.
Like, why has this team struggled so much? And the answer is all 3 true face-off guys have been injured the entire season. So they're sending guys out there at the dot that have literally no face-off experience.
Yeah, it's been a crazy story. 1 injury in fall ball, 2 injuries early on this spring. And so they take a guy in Nick O'Shea, who they recruited as an offensive midi, never faced off before in his career, and are asking guys like him, asking their long poles, asking anybody else, do you want to try your hand at the face-off X? And it doesn't hurt to have Greg Paskoljan on the coaching staff, a former All-American and statistical champion at face-off for Adelphi.
Good ball movement. Nick to Noah, but it didn't work. Twin brothers, 39 in blue. Noah Larson, a senior at attack. St. Anselm will restart. Down 4-1 to Adelphi. 3rd matchup between these teams this season. The first 2 decided by a single goal.
And right now, Adelphi showing some zone defense, which Coach Purdy hinted they might break out in this game.
And that one's off the top shelf. Hit the bar. Connor Mulvey had an opportunity.